Across 5 capital cities, land size has shrunk by 13% in the last 10 years. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? Let's talk about it. Stay tuned.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
Hey, you walked 2.5 hours, 10 kilometres yesterday, Sunday.
Yes, the rumour's true. I was walking along Sydney coastline thinking, wow, this is spectacular. Very, very lucky to live here. And it's a special place. You can understand why everyone wants to live here.
And you did this by yourself, Billy?
Yeah, it was a bit of a spontaneous walk. I ended up going a little bit further than I originally thought and got caught in the rain at the end, but that's all right.
And you did that to clear your head because you're used to having so many ladies around you on the weekend that you just wanted some downtime by yourself. Is this true?
I was walking away from them.
Wow. You must find that very hard to be that popular with the ladies.
Yeah, it's tough. You just got to manage it, level head. But what was the highlight of your weekend?
I got together with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law who've been living in Singapore for the last 3 years, lockdown style, haven't seen them. And nephew John Woon, and hanging out with those guys was the highlight. So there was lots of that.
Beautiful.
Lots of food. We did a bit of a walk as well around the city. Yeah, Vivid's over.
Yeah, Vivid's over. I actually didn't get to go watch it, but I saw it in part.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. But
talk to us about land.
Today's topic, yeah, it's interesting. Why is land actually, why is the importance of land, I guess, going away? I was just referring off air to a property that we were sort of managing and then sold, Lewis Street in DY, the traditional big house on a really big block, front and back garden. That doesn't seem to be, so popular anymore.
2,500 metres square land. The old quarter-acre blocks died. What I'm interested to talk about as well is what's it going to look like in the next 10 years? Are the blocks going to get smaller again? Is it going to be pushed back with a bigger block? Stuff like that. But why is this happening?
Well, having a bit of a read, it looks like migration, people coming into the country is obviously, there is more people living here now. You were saying that people simply don't, it's a bit of a change of lifestyle now. I don't think gardening is many people's favorite hobbies on the weekend. People prefer, convenient locations, all the specs on the inside, and just, a nice luxury, convenient lifestyle. I think it's moved away from a big block.
Yeah, and look, I think if you look at the habits of what growing up, what used to be on offer, I think the food options are a lot different. The alcohol, the drinking options are a lot different. I think effectively sort of 30 years ago, 50 years ago, there was your pubs, maybe your clubs like your RSL clubs. There was your parks. And I think that if you were going to go to a restaurant, if you were lucky, you would have found, morning Luke, if you were lucky, when you got to a restaurant, you may have had a little Chinese restaurant locally. That was it. In terms of, I think there's we weren't building balconies 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. So there just wasn't that emphasis on outside the al fresco outdoor areas through winter was virtually impossible. Like people did the mushroom heater, the mushroom gas heater in a restaurant or in a back patio something we've only really seen the last 20 years. Those things weren't blasting 30, 40, 50 years ago. So we're getting better at outdoor.
Well, I've got a little interesting graph here, though. I'm just going to pop a share screen on. This will give you an insight as to where the trend's been going for the last 10 years.
Oh, really? I don't know if I like it.
The average site area of house approvals based on square meterage starts at 2012. So your traditional sort of 500-600 square meter block has really come down. And this is almost year on year. Every year it's getting smaller.
So when did that graph start, Billy Bob?
2012.
Yeah. And it just goes down, 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 down.
Yeah, nearly year on year. So
now, and what block size is it starting at there?
Just under 500.
Billy Bob?
Just under 500 meters. Which one?
Why does that make me sad?
Well, I think it's you go back to properties like Lewis Street. It's definitely a different time. It's people's wish list has definitely changed. Not necessarily houses are getting smaller though. It's interesting when you're looking at what's going on these packages of land. The house is often staying, maybe going up a second level. But
the houses are in most part 2-story rather than they used to be single-story, and it seems like everybody gets a bathroom now. So rather than building a house 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, you're building 5 bedrooms and 3 or 4 bathrooms. With these new builds, they all get that sort of third, at least one bathroom down, at least 2 bathrooms up. It's weird.
It is. It's extremely strange. Do you think it's a case of land's being used better now?
I think inside's being used better now. I think gaming. I spent a bit of time on the old PlayStation yesterday with my daughter playing NRL. Footy was on. Footy's bigger than ever. There's just so much more indoor entertainment in the actual home itself, and probably even outdoor entertainment, but not your outdoors, like restaurants around or great walking precincts like yourself. You went around walking the village. These villages have developed a lot more in suburbias. A coffee shop to stop at. Man, look at the amount of coffee shops that have opened up, and you never see them really going out of business. They just keep opening.
That's crazy.
So many things to do, I think, in short.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think it is definitely a bit of a lifestyle move. Where do you think it's going in 10 years? That's the interesting part. I think we're going up vertically.
Yeah.
I think
there's certainly a need for it. I think, cities tend to be getting more walkable now. So, a little bit what you did. Bike paths, walking paths, these precincts seem to be really popular. I think you're right, block sizes, we're going to go more vertical, and I think block sizes are going to go smaller as well. That's the way people, if I was speculating, if I was a punter, I would be saying that people want hotel-style finishes, alfresco sort of outdoor areas, and then they're happy to give up a bit of green lawn, for that type of lifestyle.
Have you? You're a big fan of property, but are you a big fan of land as well as an investment?
Yeah, I think people can't forget that land appreciates and bricks and mortar depreciate. It's very, very common to miss it for people. So when you just can't replicate land, and the thing that dates, And I always give this example. Up at Duffy's Forest, there was this massive estate just 20 years ago, and it was $2 million. It was $2 million for a monster home, and I'm talking monster. Or you could buy a 5-acre block for $2 million.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting is looking at those products, or those product that product developed later. Graham Free, how are you, Graham? Graham's done a lot of local developing. He'd know this. He'd know this as well. For this is Duffy's Forest, the golf estate up there, Graham, that we're talking about. The reason I brought this up is because these 20 years later, 25 years later, these monster houses got old. The kids moved out, and the houses were big houses. They were sort of 7-bedroom, 7-bathroom, big homes. Back then, it was $1 million to build the houses. To actually renovate those houses today, again, would be over $1 million. I think probably over one and a half just to renovate. So when these houses, I sold one about a year or two ago, and that's when I had that like by like analysis. When I sold the one that I sold, it was circa 4.6 that I sold it for, but the land around there, the 5-acre blocks, were going for about 6. So considering that 4.6 house needed $1 million spent to be back in its former glory, that would have taken to 5.6. You're sort of down. Do you know what I mean? So you're down like $1 million to modify it. So I think that's the long answer, Billy, to what you're saying there. I just want to run this comment from Graham. What's he got to say?
I think, definitely in other suburbs where, there's density's a little bit higher. Smaller block size, definitely driven by affordability. From a developer's perspective, it must be good to be able to chop up a block as well and sell that on in smaller portions. Would you get a little bit more money, do you think?
Say that again.
So like when they do like these big land releases, to be able to chop up these blocks of land in smaller batches and sell those on, you must be able to get a little bit more out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Your per square metre rate, the rate of returns are just that little bit better for the developer. Lisa, cost to maintain big blocks increase living costs and building costs. It's true. You have that monster home, you got to maintain that monster home. You got to, you need the gardener, you need the pool person, and it costs a hell of a lot of money. That's not even having to keep the home modern. If you're doing kitchens and bathrooms every 10 or 12 years, or 15 or 20 years, whenever you decide to do them, it's just a massive, massive cost. The lovely Lisa Novak.
We're a star viewer. As life gets faster, the necessity for smaller properties is far more appealing. And then, I think it's definitely a change in, the way people are living. Townhouses.
I noticed in the eastern suburbs, they do this really, really well. So they grab a single block of land, they whack 2 houses left to right on them. They don't call them townhouses, but they effectively are townhouses, one of 2. They call them homes. They actually even put a division down the middle with a gap in some circumstances of 10 centimetres or 20 centimetres between them. So there's absolutely no party wall between them because there's this airlock and gap between them. But these homes are big. They're 5 bedrooms. They're 5 bathrooms each. Two living rooms, cinema, 4-car garage. They get as much money as the houses on a normal block of land.
Absolutely. And if they, better internal condition, I think it's more attractive these days. People are, they're not fast. Quality of life.
No. Absolutely. We always talk about, as a family, we lived in a block of apartments, brand new, one of three. We had our own backyard. It was a 2-story apartment, and it was very, very attractive living. We then moved to a house after that. Loved it, but then always looked back. I thought that was just such an easy life.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of the
That's a
old
show.
lawnmower. That's the show.
That's a show. So I think, in summary, guys, to draw from what we've just spoken today and some of the data that we've pulled out with our research. What do you reckon, Billy?
I think Lisa's nailed it there. Developers are building high, not wide. I can see a lot more people going this way, and I think that's becoming more attractive. You know, you've got some of these buildings going in now where the pool, the gym, the sauna, all these amenities are like, it's like a lift. It's like what used to be having a lift is now convenient. Now you've got all the other bits and pieces. And then if you've got shops around you or below, that's even more attractive. So I see that becoming a more popular way of life. That's it.
And that's the wrap.
Have a good week. Start to the week.
Billy Bob, enjoy. Everyone have a fantastic week. Hopefully for the builders, the rain's going to stay away. And it's certainly buildings moving along in the last couple of weeks with the rain staying away, so it's good news.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at the building behind us. It's still going up.
Pumping. See you, legend. See you, everyone.